Make sure I'm recording everything right. Make sure my mic is unmuted. Make sure I'm unmuted. Make sure everybody can hear me. All right, everybody, if you can hear me, let me get a thumbs up, ladies and gentlemen. If you can hear me, I'm gonna make sure my sound is where it's supposed to be. If you guys can hear me, give me a thumbs up. We good? Give me a fist, a thumbs up. We good to go? There it is. All right. Just making sure everything is good. Doing the late night check-in. I am your host. I am Tariq. I am Tariq Nasheed, for those who don't know. And I would like to grace you with the spirit of Mujara, some FBA energy, and the spirit of empowerment. And we're going to get some calls shortly while we're waiting on everybody to pile in the room. And can everybody give this link a retweet? You guys give it a retweet and let everybody know that we are here and we are in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Now, before we get started, gotta talk about something real quick. Out in California, did y'all see the video I posted on my social media? The officials in California, in San Francisco in particular, gave a formal apology for slavery and mistreatment to Black Americans. Now, well, they still ain't talking about the money. We're waiting on the money talk. All right, the apology, that's cool. They gave an apology talking about the detrimental harm of certain racist practices to Black Americans and their descendants. So, okay. So they gave a formal apology, and I posted that. A lot of the alt-lice were in the comment section, really upset, talking about, oh my God, what is this? California wasn't a slave state. Why is California talking about this? And I'm going to have to reiterate. I've said this many times. There was slavery in California. California absolutely had slavery. California also benefited from the slavery of the rest of the United States. The reason why the United States was able to make land acquisitions the way it did and expand was because of the wealth generated from slavery. So that brings it into the fold right there. Also, the direct slavery that was going on in California. You had some of the gold miners. They were bringing enslaved people to do the gold mining and panhandling for them. There were several famous cases involving slavery in California. Most notably, the Biddy Mason case. She was trying to get her freedom out here in California. So slavery absolutely existed out here. San Bernardino was a slave colony. It was informal, even though California on paper wasn't a slave state. Slavery was still allowed informally, and they just turned a blind eye to it and made it illegal for a Black person to testify against a white person. So that was the trick right there. So they say, yeah, we're not a slave state, but if you're enslaved and you're Black, you can't testify against the white person. So what are we gonna do? That was the little trick bag con game they thought they were gonna pull. You see. But slavery was alive and well out here in California. And all of the people talking about, oh God, where's the money coming from? The money's gonna come from the same place they're giving these illegal immigrants, the same pool of money that they're giving to the Ukrainians, the same pool of money they're giving to some of the red Native American tribes. There the money is there. And we are going to ride that reparations wave until we get what we're supposed to get. We're not letting people intimidate us away from talking about our reparations claim. Oh, we got Nathaniel up here early. Speaking of the alt-right, boy, he's up here early. Nathaniel has something to say. Let me get Nathaniel up here. Nathaniel got up here early. He put the jar of mayonnaise down and said, hey, this is it. I got to talk. Nathaniel, I said, does this have you triggered so far, sir? What's up, Nathaniel?
Hey, Jerick, how are you today?
I'm good, Nathaniel. So did this touch a nerve with you, sir?
Oh, yeah, reparations is not feasible at all economically. I mean, you talk about the Ukrainians, they've received $100 billion. That's 40 times less than what your, 40 trillion claim is?
20 trillion.
Yeah, that's not feasible at all. I mean, we saw inflation these last 3 years. Could you imagine if you guys received your reparations? It would destroy our country's economy.
How so?
Did you not see how prices went up almost 200% in some areas?
Well, sir, the thing is that money that was sent to the Ukraine, that doesn't circulate in our economy. So, yeah, that's the problem. That's the money that doesn't recirculate. Reparations money given to foundational Black Americans, that is going to stimulate the economy because we're going to bounce that money in our internal economy. That's going to be phenomenal for the economy. You're not giving it to a foreign nation.
The reason we have inflation is because there's too many dollars floating around. So at least with the Ukrainian money, which I don't support at all, at least that's being sent abroad, which doesn't circulate as quickly back into the American economy. Could you imagine how much...
That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. No. We're not talking about printing new money. We're talking about money that's already here, sir. What are you talking about?
There's no 20 trillion here for you guys to get. Where's that going to come from? It's going to have to be printed.
Yes, no.
Where?
No, the government has it. Some of that money from the Ukraine. Let's start off with a few of them billions. Right? We could start off with a few billion and work our way up to the 20 trillion. Right?
You just said you went 20 trillion. Do you know how far away 20 trillion is from 100 billion?
Let's start with the 30 billion. Let's start there. We can do increments. It don't have to be at once. We can do increments. We can start with the 30 billion.
You already receive more than that in welfare every year.
No, because your community gets most of the welfare. So we're owed double. Your community gets welfare, and you had all the benefits and privileges. You weren't denied anything based on race. Why are any people in your community on welfare?
Well, logistically, do you know how per capita works?
No, don't start at per capita. Don't start. No, because raw numbers show that your community are the majority of the people on welfare. Why are any of your people on welfare?
Terry, if you have 100 apples and 30 of them are rotten, versus if you have 4 apples and 3 of them are rotten, well, which pal are you more scared of? The one where 75% is rotten, or the former pal?
Okay, if you had 10 apples that were hung and lynched and Jim Crowed, and then you had 90 apples that were given all types of privileges and benefits, then why are the 90 apples on welfare that were given benefits and privileges? Why are any of them on welfare?
Because there's no oranges, but I don't see what that has to do with reparations.
No, because you mentioned welfare. And the majority of welfare people in your community, Black people are, of course, I'm surprised most of us are not on welfare, which most of us are not. It's understandable that Black people will be on welfare because we've been denied resources repeatedly. Your community has not. You've been given a green light for everything. You've had a Jim Crow policy called white supremacy that gave you privileges and benefits. So why are any of you on welfare?
Well, maybe I should have used watermelons instead for you to understand the analogy with per capita, but the reason why
per capita don't mean anything.
Welfare.
I'm talking about the millions of people in your community on welfare. What does that say about your community?
But the difference is that we're funding our own people. Without us, you guys wouldn't have any welfare at all. Have you not seen the stat where we contribute about $750,000 per lifetime to our total budget? But you guys take, I think, $200,000 in net negative?
You're just making up stuff right now. That don't even make sense.
No.
That makes zero sense. We're taxpayers.
It makes total sense.
No. Not only are we the taxpayers, and
you take more than what you contribute.
No, that's called white supremacy. We were the ones who built this whole nation for free, and then y'all came and took all the resources and wealth. What you're doing is projecting, sir. That's projection. What you're doing. Y'all took 100% of the
wealth. We did
all the labor. for nothing, and then your community came and took 100% of the wealth, and you're talking about what we take. So if it were not for us, you would still be over there in Ireland, begging for a potato and some earthworm stew. All right. Y'all
when
came
did you
and
start
ate off
building
of
the
us.
country?
We started
building the country.
We started building the country in the 1500s.
How come you didn't start building it before we came?
There were communities around the Americas that were
TPs
relatively
don't count.
advanced.
Come on, mud huts and TPs don't count.
Not all of them were mud huts and teepees. In fact, when some of the Spanish explorers went into Southern and Central America, they saw very advanced cities with mosques and other advanced amenities. So it wasn't teepees and huts all over the place.
Wait, are we talking about the Americas?
Yes, we're talking about the Americas, sir. There weren't teepees and huts everywhere. You had some advanced
There were no mosques in America.
Yes, there were.
There were no mosques.
There were mosques. Then why did certain Spanish explorers say that there were mosques? Why did Columbus write in his diary that he saw a mosque in Cuba? Huh?
Tariq, come on. There were no mosque in America.
Then why did the white explorers say that?
Okay, if your civilization was so built, how are you?
You didn't explain, because I'm telling you what some of the Spanish explorers said. They said they saw mosques and other Moorish buildings here. And also, why did they bring Islamic translators? Or not, I won't say Islamic because they Christianized them, but they brought black people who could speak Hebrew and Arabic specifically to be translators. Why did they do that?
I think you're lost. We're talking about the Americas, correct? United States.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Americas. You said what was built before. I'm still talking about the Americas. What was in the Americas? And I'm telling you.
Where were these mosques?
Somewhere down in Central America. Columbus said he saw one in Cuba in his own diary. They brought people, I guess Stevenico, the black Moor who could speak Arabic. They brought another Moor to Canada, Mateo da Costa, who could speak all types of different languages. So they were bringing in these people who could speak Arabic and Hebrew for a reason. So why do you think they were doing that?
Are you sure you're not confusing like domes of landfill with the little mosque things? Because there were no mosques in the Americas. That's just made up.
Well, why did your European brethren make that up? Because I'm getting from what they were saying. Why did they make that up?
I don't know where you see this. I mean, where do I look up to see about these mythical mosques?
Look up Columbus. Look up Columbus's diary. All right. Look up Columbus's diary. He talks about seeing a mosque structure in Cuba when they landed in Cuba. So do you not believe that there were
mosques? Well, where are they now? Where are they now? Why don't they exist today?
Sir, this is like hundreds and centuries years later. So a lot of those...
Do you not see the Colosseum? That survived thousands of years.
Well, there ain't nobody going up there to try to rebuild nothing up there. They just left the ruins up there. And they never really rebuilt Rome into some big extravaganza like that. The only thing popping in Rome is the tourism. People come to see the rubble. So that's not a flex, sir. That means that they never got their shit.
You're a well-traveled man. I'm sure you've gone to Europe, you've gone to Scotland, you've seen the castles, you've seen the fortresses, and then you've also gone to Africa, and there's no withstanding architecture compared to European architecture that is withstanding.
Yeah, because the British tore everything up in Africa. When the British came, the Arabs tore up a lot of stuff, and then the British came and tore up a lot of stuff, and they kept re-tearing things up. Even when they colonized things and black people got their independence, out of spite, they said, okay, we'll leave, but we're going to destroy these freeways, the buildings, the infrastructure. Some places even were so petty, they took the toilet paper out of buildings. That's how petty they were. These people start all the way over. All right? So what's wrong with your community? What's wrong with these people?
Oh, what's wrong with your community? What is this Majara? Are you guys doing another identity? What is it? Native American?
No, that's not. No. That's the spirit that we have. That we have a connection to God that you don't have. That's why you guys always try to latch on to us all the time, because you have no connection to the Most Most High at all. Many of the white supremacists are the embodiment of the evil, and you know it. And we have
the most violent group in America.
And we have a God spirit that you guys can't tap into, and we call it Mojara.
You have a thievery spirit. That's why you steal all the iPhones in your nearest neighborhoods.
Sir, nobody has stolen more than the white supremacists, sir. Nobody. You guys still hold continents and resources from everybody. Nobody's more violent than a white supremacist, sir. You guys commit complete genocides everywhere you go. Nobody's more violent than you.
Okay. How about we pose a two-state solution where you FBAs go on one side of the country and you let us on our side of the country, and we see what portion of the country would survive?
Sir,
I don't think that you guys could survive without us. I really don't.
Sir, if that were the case, you guys wouldn't be so hell-bent on destroying anything we do independently. The minute we do something independent, you guys come along and destroy it out of fear. There's a reason why your community had J. Edgar Hoover write in a memo called COINTELPRO, there can never be a rise of a black messiah. You had your intelligence agencies go out of their way, and they still do, to stop the progress of any type of black independence, sir. That's not a group of people.
Name one thing that we've destroyed from your community.
Sir, everything we build, you destroy. Whenever we build business districts, your community comes along and deliberately put freeways and train tracks in the middle of our business districts. Whenever we have thriving communities, like in Wilmington, North Carolina, the white supremacists come in and destroy it. Tulsa, Oklahoma, you bomb that. So many other places, sir. That's all of your community.
No, those were mutual. That was mutual destruction.
Wasn't a mutual destruction. These a bunch of white supremacists saw these black millionaires and then got in planes and bombed the people. That wasn't what was mutual about that.
Most of these race riots were started because one of you guys committed a crime, and it angered mobs, and mobs did, as you said earlier, street justice. I mean, weren't you talking about this last space?
Well, your community will falsely accuse a black person of something and use that as an excuse to target all the black people. So, but you get mad when people look at white supremacists the same. You try to lone wolf your way out of everything, but yet you treat black people as a collective based on the actions of one person, which is what white supremacy is about. Right?
Well, I mean, there's an excuse for everything that you have, but it's been great speaking to you, and I'm glad Black History Month is coming to an end.
Why are you glad about that? Oh, Nathaniel, okay. So Black History Month is just the thought of it is tearing your ass up because black people are speaking these black truths out here. Now let's get Patrick Nose in here. Let's get Patrick Nose. All right, Patrick knows. Let's see what Patrick knows.
Am I on?
Yes, Patrick.
About the reparations, I don't think black Americans deserve reparations because
This is
have already taken reparations.
This is the tether from yesterday. Y'all remember the tether who kept calling in? Now he's pretending to be a white man. This is a West African tether who's very jealous and envious of foundational black Americans. So why
I'm not jealous.
Yes, you are. You're a jealous, angry, musty tether, sir.
I was just asking a question.
Why are you so jealous of foundational black Americans, sir?
I just asked a simple question.
Again, why are you? You're a tether who fled over here. You want to talk to us about taking from something? You fled from a failed homeland, and you're over here eating off us and got the nerve to talk about what we're taking? Really?
You muted me again.
I have not touched the mute button, sir. You got DoorDash orders coming in. That's what's muting your phone. I haven't touched the mute button at all, sir. I've not muted you.
FBA costs United States government about $1 trillion a year.
Okay. And you cost the United States government an additional $13 billion in deodorant to stop your must. So when you come over here, we don't have to smell you. So what's your point? Dudu Tunde? Okay, he bounced. Dudu Tunde bounced. All right. Boy, these jealous, angry tethers. They are obsessed with us. Man. All right, let me get Ani Osaru in. All right, Ani Osaru in. I think I'm pronouncing your name. Go ahead, Ani.
What's going on, brother?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing good, man. First of all, Hernan Cortez saw 400 mosques in the Americas.
Yes.
Saw 400, and it is documented that Columbus, in his diary, saw a mosque in Cuba. So he did write that in his diary, and a lot of white supremacists were trying to say it was a hill or something like that, but he said it was a mosque, and he traveled the whole world, so they act like he didn't know what a mosque was. So he was completely correct with that. And there's one more thing. There's a movie out on Netflix called, I think they redid Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and they got the guy, Childish Gambino, with an Asian actress. I want you to probably look into that. There's a lot going on. I've been checking into that. I know you can get a little bit more out of it, but it's real strange, and there's a lot of things they're doing with the Childish Gambino character that you might need to look into. Appreciate it.
Thank you very, very much, brother. But yeah, brother was very correct, man. Cortez not only said he saw 400 mosques down in Central America, he drew a map of it. There's actually a map of what he saw. It was an advanced city down there in Central America. When he went down there to Mexico, and the area now known as Mexico, he talked about seeing all of these mosques and apartment buildings and Moorish designs. This is Cortez in the 1500s. And he drew a map of it, so you guys can Google the map. See, these guys try to play that I'm white and I say so game. See, when you're rooted in history and you know the truth, that I'm white and I say so thing ain't gonna work. See, family, you better understand, when the white supremacists open their mouths, about 85% of what they're saying is gonna be a lie. Just assume they're gonna lie. This is why we have to be very rooted in history, so the lies don't work. And old boy called up. I didn't when Nathaniel, the white supremacist, called up, I didn't mute him. I just calmly debunked every lie he tried to get away with, and that just doesn't work here. We're not doing I'm white and I say so. Facts are facts, and I'm quoting the white supremacist scholars and the explorers who came over here, because they'll try to pass stuff off as being Afrocentric. Dude, I sit here and quote white scholars and writers and explorers who are not Afrocentric in any sense of the word. I could get into the Van Sertimas and the John Henry Clarks and the Jan Carews and some of these phenomenal black scholars, but hell, I can just stick with the white ones and debunk that stuff, because there were some white people who told the truth. The Leo Werners and the Von Wutenows and the Gerald Masseys and the David McRitchies, and you had some who told the truth about black history and who black people were and where they were and who they were and where were they in ancient times. So you have some who tell the truth. And look, truth be told, the white supremacists who call up, they know the truth too. I want y'all to understand that these guys who call up here trying to do the nah and all that, they know the truth. They know the truth, but they have to push the lies, though. The name of the game is to try to Jedi mind trick us into not knowing the truth. They know about our Mojara spirit. They know about it. If you and I saw this earlier, some people down in, I think, Louisiana somewhere, kicking it at one of them slave plantations down there. Down in these slave plantations all over the South, y'all notice a lot of white people like going there, getting married. They like to have family ceremonies there. When we were filming one of my movies, I think it was probably Buck Breaking. And by the way, you can watch Buck Breaking on Amazon. We're filming Buck Breaking. We filmed at some plantations down in Louisiana. We're soaking in that Mojara spirit from the family. That's why the movie was so successful. And when we were filming on the plantations down there, I noticed there were a lot of white people there getting married at these plantations. They have their wedding ceremonies at these plantations. They have family gatherings and parties. It was more white people at these plantations visiting than black people. They stay on those plantations trying to soak in that godlike Mojara energy. They know what it is. You understand what I'm saying? They know. This is why in white supremacist culture, it's always been a saying that rubbing a black person's hair is good luck. That's why they're always rubbing and fondling and touching in your hair. That's been a trope in their community for years. Touching our hair is good luck. Having us around in a contained environment, that's a good luck thing. We're like an energy portal to them. That's where the whole magic Negro concept came from. They understand the God-like connections that we have. They understand that. But they run the Jedi mind tricks on us. Talking about violence and thievery. No, that's them. And you might have one or two of us or a few of us who are thrown into the matrix with these people, and our godlike mission gets rerouted from being around them. You understand? That's when you notice our stuff gets janky when we're around them too damn much. The white supremacists. But when we are on our own and we don't have them in our mix like they're to always trying to be, we actually fare better. Like the white supremacists called up talking about we wouldn't do anything, we couldn't have anything popping without them. The opposite is true. And Tulsa, Oklahoma is a great example of that, because when Tulsa, Oklahoma started popping off, that was a throwaway place. That was just Indian territory where they just wanted to dump people off. They wanted to dump off a lot of black people who were unworthy of being enslaved, because they threw the black Seminoles out there because they didn't want them turning up on the plantations. And, they sent a lot of the native tribes out there to just kind of dump them out there. And Oklahoma was basically an outlaw state. It's a place where a lot of outlaws would go. That's why you had people like Bass Reeves, who's a foundational black American who was enslaved. He beat up his slave owner and then got his freedom and went to Oklahoma because they knew not to go out there and try to get him, because black folks turned up out there. But out there in Oklahoma, that was kind of a place where they just kind of left black folks alone for a long time, just throw them out there in Indian territory and just forget about them. And they did that with the black people of Oklahoma and Tulsa. Wasn't like the South. In the South, the white people monitor what black folks do all the time. The black folks lived right across the tracks, so white people would just kind of monitor the actions and the movements of black people. They didn't do that in Oklahoma. So they just kind of left black people on their own, and then they woke up one day and saw a bunch of damn black millionaires. They were like, hey, whoa, what the hell is this? With all these Negroes with these nice cars and horses and carriages and living in mansions, what is this? What the hell? Well, we got to get into some I'm white and I say so business. We got to make a fake sexual assault claim. And that's what they did. They used that as a precursor and justification to bomb that place. The reason they were bombing that place was because of the economic stronghold that the black folks in Tulsa had. And they were ready to do international business. These were black people who are on their own, making millions without any white intervention. And then they were about to start doing international business. They had to stop that. So, excuse me. So our progress always gets sabotaged. Our progress as foundational Black Americans is always sabotaged because they understand the Mujahid spirit we have. They understand it. Let's get Mr. Badu. Mr. Badu.
See you, peace to you, Tariq family. You doing all right, brother?
I'm good, brother. What's on your mind, sir?
Man, I'm here. I'm out here in Indianapolis. I'm kicking shit. First thing, I really just wanted to come up and say congratulations to you on 1 year at the Hidden History Museum. I've been following you ever since you've been putting it up. I've been rocking with you for a long time, man. So I'm just glad to see that that's been going on, and it's gonna be going up for 100 more years. You know what I'm saying?
Sir.
So. That's all that is, just from one Black brother to another. And I hope I can rock your stage in Cali one time. That's it.
Absolutely. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, brother. Yeah, y'all got to come out and visit the Hidden History Museum. Y'all really got to come out and visit, man, if y'all have not, especially when we have events, man. We be turning up in there. We have a great time. It's fun. The Hidden History Museum is a fun spot. People love it. The energy is good, real good energy. You're being around progressive-minded people. The ladies love going up there because there's a lot of well-to-do brothers who show up. So the ladies love going up there. My staff is phenomenal, man. We got a great staff, and it's a vibe. And I'm thinking about the next event is I'm thinking about doing another Coon Train Awards because that's something that we need to do. I think that might be the next event. The Coon Train Award, and then we're going to have a premiere of the new movie Microphone Check before it hits theaters. It's going to have a big red carpet event at the museum. So you guys, stay tuned. Stay tuned for that, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let me see some hands up here because we do have a lot of people in the building. And by the way, get your Rootwork deodorant at rootworkstyle.com. rootworkstyle.com. Let's get it.
From the culture of the American South, where roots hold stories, comes a natural deodorant inspired by generations of wisdom. Introducing Rootwork, the all-natural foundational Black American-based deodorant infused with the magic of High John the Conqueror root. Our unique blend enriched with...
Wake that ass up in the morning. I'm going to bring up one issue that Alex brought to my...
For an NBC News special report as we bring you the 5th public hearing of the January 6th committee.
Debate of the 2020 election. For the first time.
Joining me now is Michael Fanone, former D.C. Metropolitan Police Officer and author of Hold the Line, The Insurrection and One Cop's Battle for America's Soul, and Stuart Stevens, political strategist and senior advisor to the Lincoln Project. Michael Fanone, thank you so much for being here.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's talk about this, because there were a few things about this that literally infuriated me as I listened to Donald Trump in Ohio over the weekend. But one of the most galling incarcerated January 6th defendants. Let me play for you what you said.
In the cases involving the January 6th attack on the Capitol, all of those civil suits for which you have won, these might be the cases that do finally bankrupt Donald Trump.
There's so many victims in these cases, and Lawrence, as you mentioned, we have not, set out a dollar amount. We're principally seeking accountability, and ultimately it's up to a jury as to, what that dollar amount is if Donald Trump is found guilty for inciting and aiming the mob. But, the plaintiff class is so large. And as you said, when you compare it to the Giuliani verdict, the exposure is certainly pretty great. And what I hope people at home take comfort in is that for years, there's been this frustration that Donald Trump has escaped responsibility and accountability. And finally, even as slow as these cases are moving, and they're moving too slow. Accountability is coming for Donald Trump, and then perhaps, that's how we can redeem the rule of law in our country.
Yeah, we're going to see some accountability on Monday, and that's why the judicial system has two components, civil and criminal. Sometimes criminal moves faster than civil. Sometimes civil moves faster than criminal. Here we've seen this case brought by the Attorney General was actually years in the making, but this year it seemed to move quite quickly compared to what people were seeing on the criminal side.